Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? This is My Africa Show and I am your host and producer, Agabelai. Today we're back with a fresh, brand new episode for you guys, and I have a very good news to announce. Starting from this episode, we will have 3 segments in our show. The first one's going to be Coffee Time, where we will have different guests and we will have a very good time, very good points to bring up and discuss. The second segment is going to be Spotlight, where we spotlight different people that contributed for Africa to become Africa, you know? So that's going to be one of my interested segments of the part of the show. The third and the last one is going to be Africa is Rising. So that's going to be about the evidence, the proof, you know, Africa is actually growing and developing. So yeah, stay tuned, you know, be locked in. That's the only thing I can say. So as you all know, July 1st is the Independence Day for Burundian sisters and brothers. So I was like, I actually had made some show in Amharic about the independency, but I was hoping if we could discuss about the Burundian independency and also things related with that, with the ambassador of Burundi, Ambassador Willy. I was planning to have that interview in person, but that was not possible. Unfortunately, he had to go back to Burundi to celebrate and to, you know, do other things. So I asked him for a favor and he was willing to give us his time and discuss about Burundi. Let's see that and we'll be back.
My name is Willy Nyamitwe. I'm the permanent representative of the Republic of Burundi to the African Union Commission and to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. I'm based in Addis Ababa. I'm also responsible for bilateral relations between Burundi and Ethiopia, Burundi and Djibouti, Burundi and Chad, Burundi and Eritrea, Burundi and South Sudan, and Burundi and Israel. First of all, I need to let you know that Burundi's journey to independence has been marked by resilience and a strong desire for self-determination. As we celebrate our 62nd anniversary of independence, we honor the sacrifices made by our forebears and look forward to a future of sustainable development. Our vision is to become an emerging country by 2040 and a developed nation by 2060. Burundi is celebrating its independence with a series of national events, including parades, speeches, cultural performances, and all these events are designed to honor our history, celebrate our culture, and unite our people. The celebrations also provide an opportunity to reflect on our progress and renew our commitment to achieving our future goals. Since gaining independence, Burundi has undergone significant changes. We've established our democracy, elected institutions. We have worked towards economic and social development. Education and healthcare have seen improvements, and we continue to invest in infrastructure and sustainable development projects. Additionally, Burundi and Burundians and the people and the government all together, we've implemented policies aimed at fostering economic growth, attracting investment, and promoting environmental sustainability. I can say that Africa, with its rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and landscapes, stands out for its incredible diversity and resilience. The spirit of community and the warmth of its people make Africa unique. This drive towards progress and sustainable development while staying rooted in our traditions is what truly sets Africa apart, from my own opinion. One common misconception about Burundi is that it's a nation stuck in conflict and poverty, which is wrong. While we have faced challenges, Burundi is now on a path of peace and development. Our country is rich in culture, natural beauty, and potential. It's important for people to see the real Burundi, a nation of resilience, progress, and hope. As an ambassador, this is what I want people to see: a very beautiful country with a huge potential. My last word, as we celebrate our independence, or our National Day, is to encourage everyone to look beyond the headlines and see the true spirit of Burundi. We are a nation made of hardworking, innovative, and hopeful people. Our journey towards sustainable development is well underway. And with continued dedication and unity, we will achieve our vision. I can't be tired to repeat it, our vision of becoming a developed nation by 2060. So let's work together to build a brighter future for all Burundians and keep our very good relationship with other nations, particularly with the Ethiopian people. Thank you so much for having me.
We are back. As you guys have heard, Burundi has a lot of things in common, in fact, with our country Ethiopia, starting from the coffee, to the culture, the dance, and somehow even with our face and our skin tone, we really look alike. Passing on to the second segment, which is the spotlight. I feel like this kind of segments should be really encouraged because there are a lot of people that actually contributed in a lot of ways for Africa in terms of history, philosophy, art, tradition, culture, but they're not acknowledged and honored as they should be. So today we'll see, I was really fascinated, in fact. As we all know, there's different philosophical thoughts in Africa. So on our spotlight segment, we will see Anton Wilhelm Amo. He's a Ghanaian philosopher. Back in the 18th century, he was taken to German due to the slave trade. He was also able to educate people about African philosophy. So he was one of the most ancient, in the ancient times. He was one of the most known philosophers. So we have prepared a very interesting biography about who this person is, what did he contribute, what kind of philosophy did he actually practice, and many other related things. Let's see that, and we will be back.
Across our continent in ancient and present times, Africans have contributed in creating pieces of Africa. As we have our own ways of living impacted by different factors, the core one being philosophical thoughts. And while talking about African philosophy, it is really important to mention the role of Anton Wilhelm Amo, a pioneer African philosopher from Ghana. Amo was born in 1703 in Azim, a town in present-day Ghana. He was brought to Europe as a child through the Dutch West Indian Company. Amo received an exceptional education for the time, studying at the University of Halle and later at the University of Wittenberg. Throughout his life, Amo became one of the first African known to have attended European University, got doctorate in philosophy, taught in University of Halle and University of Jena, which he lectured on various subjects including philosophy, logic, and astronomy, demonstrating his wide-ranging intellectual abilities. But publishing different works at his time was his biggest achievements. For instance, in 1734, he published a dissertation on the absence of sensation in the human mind and its presence in our organic and living body. This book examines of Cartesian dualism and mind-body problem. And 4 years after that, he published the book Treatise on the Art of Philosophical Soberly and Accurately, which outlines his views on philosophical methodology and emphasizes the importance of clarity and precision in philosophical inquiry. Delusioned by the treatment he received in Europe and perhaps seeking to reconnect with his roots, Amo decided to leave Europe. The exact details of his decision-making process are not well documented, but it is clear that the hostile environment played a significant role in his choice to return to Africa. Amo returned to the Dutch Gold Coast, present-day Ghana, around 1747-48. The precise details of his journey are not well recorded, but it is likely that he traveled via one of the trading routes operated by European companies, such as the Dutch West Indian Company, which had brought him to Europe in the first place. Upon his return, Amo settled in Fort San Sebastian in Shama, a Dutch fort on the coast of Ghana. The later years of his life were spent in relative obscurity and solitude. He did not return to a prominent public or academic role, but lived out his remaining years quietly. Amo passed away around 1759. Although his life in Africa after his return is not well documented, his legacy as pioneering African philosopher who navigated and challenged the racial and intellectual barriers of his time remains significant.
From the biography that we have just seen, I hope you guys could understand that when you are chasing your dream, when you are actually looking for change, there has to be decision. There has to be this uncomfortable kind of situations that you have to put yourself in order to make that actual big change. And Anton Wilhelm Amo is a type of person that was really intellectually eager to know. He had that curiosity to push himself to actually blend the European philosophical thoughts and the African philosophical thoughts, and actually create something useful for the people there in Germany and Europe, and also here in Africa. He could be someone that we can mention as an idol. And then we can also see that he was resilient, because at the time there is a huge discrimination because of our skin color, but he was able to know what he wants. He was able to be resilient. He was able to resist from all the opposition that he was facing and actually make his dream come true. And that happened because he knew what he wanted clearly. So, and if we want to create a life that we want, first we have to understand what we want. Once we know what we want, once it is crystal clear, the only thing it takes is just that decision and that step, and we can see that from Amo. The third thing that we can understand is about pushing yourself and looking outside of the box. Most of the time, there is this set rules, set thoughts, set path that we are expected to go. But at the end of the day, if we really look at ourselves, our life, we only live once. So we have to be able to see some stuff, especially as an Africans, outside of the box. We have to push our views, our angles, much more further than we can ever imagine. And that is something, again, that we can learn from Amo. Africa is rising. So this segment is something that I believe will give us hope, because through the medias that we can see, especially at this time, there are a lot of discouraging news about Africa. Africa is the poorest continent. Africa is this and that, which some of them is true and understandable, but you get what you focus on. And I feel like sometimes we just ignite, or we just build up that idea of how Africa is so poor and how Africa is just so corrupted and stuff like that, that we just forget how blessed we are also as an African. So this segment focuses on the positive side of being an African or stuff related to that. As we all know, African population, 60% of African population is under the age 25. And this creates the huge market demand for investors. It is making Africa a huge supply chain, creating that huge supply chain. And most importantly, it is helping Africa market herself, penetrate into that big global market and make that influence through economy. So as I've told you, if 60% of African population is youngsters, or if it is under the age 25, that itself is a huge resource that African can use. And as the World Bank informed, currently there are 20 fastest developing countries. And from those 20 countries, 11 of them are African countries like Libya, Senegal, Niger, Uganda, Togo, and also even our country, Ethiopia, and many other countries. And also related to that, it is expected for the continent's GDP to grow from 3.8 to 4.2% within 2024, which means this year, before January. So that's a very huge news. And if we see such kind of news, for me, I would be like, okay, how much difference would that percentage will make in my life? And also I would ask, what kind of change or what kind of works are being done to make that change? So for example, we can take Niger. Niger is investing in crude oil production. It's investing on agriculture production. And that is very important, more than we can ever imagine. Because if that is the potential that Niger has, then investing on that will help her have more income, and that income will be distributed in different other forms, which also help Niger one way or another. And the next example that I can give you is Senegal. Senegal is investing on infrastructure, on building schools, roads, buildings, hospitals that will make the living quality of the people much more higher, which will help us enhance the potential that we have in our, the youngsters. We can use them. So that would be something that could be mentioned. Other than that, we can mention Cote d'Ivoire, Rwanda. They're investing on mining, they're investing on infrastructure, they're investing on tourism, which is very important. I am a type of person that believes that we haven't used our tourism potential. Not only also as an Ethiopian, but also as an African, we are not understanding how powerful tourism can be. Not only the tourism that we see, the cultural and traditional places that we can visit, but also the lifestyles that we can show. Tourism is a very wide scope. Despite the growth that are being recorded at this time, we cannot deny that there are a lot of gaps, challenges that we have to face, like inflation. Inflation was one of the problems that we are facing, not only as an Africans, but also as a world that's a full global problem. And also there is weak understanding about intra-Africa trade. For this, I can mention African Continental Free Trade Area, and most of us do not know about this agreement. In fact, it's not well promoted, but we have to understand that economic strength is directly or indirectly related to political strength, and also political strength will help us have a strong society strength. So it is interrelated. Working on economy is working on our potential, on our strength, on our heard to be heard globally. And other than that, the major problem that we're facing is security issues. We feel like it's not safe to travel through Africa. It's pretty expensive, and we just feel like there's nothing to see, but there is. So we have to have that courage and that motivation, the dedication to work on those challenges. Infrastructure-wise, there are a lot of mega projects that are being done to change or to help Africans get interrelated, to make them connected. The first one is Trans-African Highway Network. So this is a very huge project. It has 9 major highways that connects different African cities. So this will help us have, if there's transportation, there will be ties. I will go there, I will work there, I will sell there, I will buy there. So transportation is one of the things that we have to work on to have our relation strong. So this project will have those cities, as it has 9 major highways, those cities included in that project to have a strong relation. That would help Africa in an enormous way. The second example that we can mention is Kenya's LAMSET project. So the word LAMSET stands for Lamu Ports, South Sudan, Ethiopian Transport. So this project connects Kenya, South Sudan, and Ethiopia through different roads, railways, and pipelines. So these countries amazingly they don't have that kind of connection through railways, roads, pipelines, as I've mentioned, even though they're just neighborhood countries. So I feel like this project would have a huge impact. Acknowledging, mentioning, promoting such kind of things is not something personal. It helps us as a continent, and also it helps us as a country, and also as an individual. But we should understand that not acknowledging, not honoring, and giving them that kind of honor as they should be given will discourage the younger generation to not work, to not contribute for the continent, which is very dangerous, I could say. Whoever is watching this episode, I want you guys to understand that we only live once, and through our lifetime, let's not only think about what we want to achieve as a human being, but also as an African, how we can contribute for our continent. And we have to understand that the connection that we are trying, the government is trying, diaspora is trying, is not useful if we do not contribute our own role, if we do not understand what we can do and actually be willing to do what we can. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. And please let us know what you think about this episode and what kind of guests, what kind of topics should we bring up on our coming episode 2 on our short SMS 6121. And for our digital media audiences, please feel free to share us what you think below this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you guys next week. Till then, goodbye.